Hi, welcome back. In this video, we're going to take a look at PDFs and how to open them using Kami and how to create Kami assignments in Google Classroom. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to know more about, stay tuned. Okay, let's start off by going to your drive. I'm going to go to my drive here and I'm going to find a PDF to open. And we'll just take a look at how Kami opens the PDF and what it looks like. So right here, I have one on elements, compounds, and mixtures I'm going to open up. So really you can do this with any PDF that you have. You can drag those into your Google Drive, and then you're going to be able to open those PDFs. So what we want to do here is at the very top here, you're going to see a drop-down menu. You want to click there, and you want to annotate with Kami. So once you open up this PDF, you'll see now that you have a menu on the left-hand side, and you have some tools that you can use to now mark this PDF up. So the idea would be if you have any sort of worksheet or activity that you want your students to be able to complete, and you don't want to have to go through the steps of trying to make this an interactive activity through Google Slides or something, you could do it right through the actual PDF. They would be able to mark these up. You could use text boxes to mark answers. They could draw on here and so forth. So really the only difference that a student would see when they do this through their Google Classroom is they're going to have an option up here. Instead of saying save, it's going to say turn in, and they'll be able to turn that in through Google Classroom. So I'll just put some markings here, and let's see, let's just highlight this. Okay, you can change the highlighter color right here, and maybe I'll highlight something else down here. So now that we have some things marked up, let's just save those annotations. I'm going to hit save, and then it's going to ask you where do you want to save this. You can then put it in a specific folder within your drive. I'm just going to click on Save Now, and then when I'm finished, I'm just going to close it. And I'll go back to my drive here. Okay, so now that I'm back in my drive, here's the file we were just working on, elements, compounds, and mixtures. You notice how there's not a separate file there or anything like that. You can, again, double-click it and open it, and if you just look at it here, you're just going to see the normal PDF. If I go to the top and I get my options up here that says Open With, I'm going to have to click Annotate with Kami again. Once I open it with Kami again, I will see the markings that we just put on there earlier. So one way to think about how Kami works is it's sort of like a clear transparency that you might put over another transparency that you were showing in class in the old days when you used an overhead projector. I like to think of it that way, where this is a clear transparency that's put over top of this PDF. I'm doing my markings on that, but you still have access to the unmarked up version of that PDF. All right, so now that you know a little bit more how Kami works, this is exactly what the students will see, and they have access to the same tools that are on the left-hand side. When they're finished, though, they'll just be hitting the Turn In button and submitting it through Google Classroom. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Google Classroom, and I'm just going to show you how to create a Kami assignment. Okay, so now I'm in my Google Classroom. I'm going to click on Classwork at the top, and what we're going to do is create a Kami assignment. So you hit the Create button, and if you have the full version of Kami, you'll be able to utilize this Kami assignment option. And when it opens up, it's going to look a little different than your normal assignment that you create in Google Classroom. But basically you're filling out the same information. You can right here select the different classes that you might want this assignment to go to. You can select specific students. So I'm just going to put here an example assignment. So put some directions there. You could give it point value here if you want to, just like a normal assignment. Let's say I make this worth 10 points. You could put a due date there. You could schedule it, or you could assign it right now. You can include this or not. There's some Kami instructions if the students aren't familiar with how to do that. You can also send those instructions right to the students, and they will be attached as a separate link to that assignment in Google Classroom. So I'm going to keep that there just so you can see that there. Over on the right-hand side, I'm going to check this box, and that should give them a direct link that's going to open it up right with Kami. Right here at Google Drive symbol, I'm going to add the PDF that we want them to work on. So we'll choose the same one that I showed you as an example, and here's the file right here. I'm going to select it by clicking on it and then clicking select down at the bottom. And you always want to make sure for this it's going to be make a copy for each student. Now you notice that the assign button is turned blue. I can now click it because we actually attached a PDF for them to do the work on. I'm going to do that right here and click assign. So now you have the option to open it up in Classroom to take a look at it. I'm already in Classroom, so I don't need to do that. I'm just going to close this, and here's the assignment right here. It tells me when it was posted. Okay, so when we open up the assignment, we now see the original PDF right here. We have the directions that tells the student how to fill this out if they need those, And then they also have a direct link to open up the file directly with Kami. It kind of saves a step. So this is what you can direct the students to open with when they get to the assignment. I'm going to show you how that works next by going to the student view. Okay, so now I'm in here as a student. This is a demo student just for the purposes of this video, and I can see what the student sees here. Now, if you direct your students to open with Kami right here, it should open that PDF directly and save them a step. So I'm going to click on that. So when students use Kami for the first time, they may have to sign in with Google here, and they may have to allow access also. That's something that could also pop up. Okay, so now it opened up for the student directly. It saved that step of having to open with or annotate with Kami, and now they're ready to mark this up. They can, again, put text boxes in here if they wanted to and type in the answers. I'll just type in some text there, and you can mark it up however they needed to, follow the directions and so forth. When they're finished up here, now you notice they have a turn in button, and that turns it right into Classroom. Again, they have one more turn in button they have to click right here. And then they'll have the option here to unsubmit. So if they accidentally turn it in and they want to fix something, they can always hit unsubmit, and then they can fix that. That's the option that they have for all their assignments through Classroom. So when they're finished, they could close this out if they want to, and that's it. They're done. So from your student's point of view, if they go back to Google Classroom and they click on View Assignment here, what they're going to find is their work, their PDF, has been turned in, and that's what we want. So it's a turned in status. You'll see it as turned in from the teacher point of view, and let's go back there now and take a look at that. Right now, from the teacher point of view, I can see one has been turned in. I can click on that. I can see, okay, there's the work. I can click on that student's work right from that page, and I'll be able to see whatever they marked up or whatever text boxes they put in there. And that's what I'm seeing right here. So remember, I put some just random letters in here. I'm seeing that marked right here with the turn in. In Google Classroom now, as I'm marking this worksheet, I can go to the next students by just scrolling back and forth here. And then when I'm finished grading all of those for this time, if I want to, I could return each individual one to a student, or I could return all the multiple submissions all at one time. And again, you have an option here to grade the student's work right here, or leave comments, and so on. So then that gets more into the grading part, and that's really graded just like any other assignment in Google Classroom, like a Google Doc or Google Slides that you typically would grade. But now you have this option to grade these marked up PDFs as Kami assignments. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. You can always email me at kbollendorf@fleetwoodasd.org. Until next time, have a great day.